What's up guys, Ryan here from Mud Gunner. Today I wanted to share a video with you guys on suppressor mounting and all the options that there are. You would think it's easy in theory, but there's actually a little bit that goes into it. So we're going to talk about that today. First ones I'm going to talk about, I would say, are the easier ones, which is rifles. So here I have a Q Honey Badger. This is a 300 blackout. And I've noticed with a lot of 300 blackouts and bolt guns, just guns in general that are meant to be lightweight or quiet, you'll see a lot of direct thread options. So this is a direct thread can, which I shoot it a lot, so it kind of gets stuck sometimes, but you see that just took my hands, no special tools. But yeah, direct thread is a major option in lightweight guns, suppressed guns, or, well, obviously suppressed guns, but like quiet, lightweight, hunting use, like a variety of that. I notice a lot of direct thread options. And you see, this is just a suppressor. There's no like complicated mounting system in the back. This literally just screws onto the barrel. My barrel's underneath the rail here. It kind of like gives it the whole like SD vibe when it's under the rail. But yeah, it's just the threaded barrel on there. There's no mounts, no nothing. Now with Q specifically, this one's a tapered barrel. So instead of having like a 90-degree shoulder and then your threads, it kind of is at a slant. So it's a tapered barrel, and it just makes for a very strong seal when I apply the suppressor or attach the suppressor. So this just threads on, nothing too special. It's just, it keeps it lightweight. And with this setup, it is very secure. Like, it's never backed off when I've shot it. Not all direct thread mounting systems are the same, but this one has been very reliable for me. I've had this gun since 2018. I've fired thousands of rounds through it and I've never had an issue. But yeah, that's the Q Honey Badger. And then the next one, that is probably the most popular one for rifles, is a quick detach mount. So this is my Scar 16. And you'll notice I have a flash hider on here. With quick detach mounts for suppressors, you basically have to go with the brand for the suppressor. So this is a Surefire mount. I have to use a Surefire suppressor for it. There are some exceptions, like some companies like try to make mounts for other companies' suppressors. That's fine. Surefire, not really, but yeah, this is a flash hider. They also make it in a muzzle brake and some different combos, like different types of flash hiders and whatnot. But what this is, it's a muzzle device that goes onto your barrel. This is Harley. You good? So with this muzzle device screwed onto your barrel, that is how you attach the suppressor, which it's very nice because these are quick detach. So I'm going to show you guys. Just mount the suppressor over this, pops right on, and then I tighten the collar on this one, and it's locked on. So that is how those mount, and it's a very reliable system. Again, every company has their own way of doing it. Some are more reliable than others. I've shot a lot of suppressors, but I can't speak on everyone's behalf. But yeah, just look at reputable brands, and Surefire is definitely one of them. I won't say it's the most quiet suppressor, but it has a very long track history, and I really like it. So yeah, this just quick detaches on and off. With this one, I have to press this little lever here to unscrew the collar, and then it just pops off. So it makes it very easy. Every gun, well, this is a 5.56 can, so every 5.56 gun I have, I can mount Surefire muzzle devices and put this on any gun. So 10-inch barrel, 16-inch barrel, whatnot. But that's the pros of having a quick detach suppressor, is that Q Honey Badger suppressor. That'll only work on a 30 caliber barrel that's tapered. So I'm kind of limited with that one. That's why I just leave it on that. But this, I have options. And then what's even nicer is if you buy the bigger version of this, the 30 cal version, the 7.62 Surefire, I can mount the 7.62 one on 30 caliber rifles. So theoretically, an AK, if it has the right mounting system, 308s, 300 blackout, 5.56. So you have a lot more options with a 30 cal quick detach suppressor because all you need is the muzzle device. So that's the pros and cons of those. I would say I like the quick detach, and I started with 30 cal cans just so I can cover the most basis on like 5.56, 300 blackout, 308. But now I've kind of started to get into 5.56 specific cans because I want to dedicate stuff. But yeah, those are the main two mounting systems for rifles. I'm sure there's other exceptions, but those are the main two. You have direct thread, and then you have the mounting system with quick detach. But yep, I'm gonna put this down here so I don't disturb my dog. So when we get into a pistol style suppressor, it's a little bit different. So I have a 9mm pistol right here. This is a Smith & Wesson M&P9. I have a threaded barrel on here. And pistol cans are, I would say, a little bit more complicating to most people, especially like newbies, but it's not so bad. So with a pistol suppressor, you have what's called a piston, and the piston is just the piece that screws onto your gun, whether it's a pistol caliber carbine, so like a rifle or an SMG. This is your piston. and different pistons go onto different thread pitches. On rifles, a lot of like the AR platform, or 5.56 22 platform, it's half by 28. It's an American thread pitch, so they don't really talk about it as much. There is some other oddball thread pitches, but yeah, that's the main one. And then 308 or 30 cal and an American thread pitch, it's 5/8 by 24. So when you're buying muzzle devices for a 308 or a 300 blackout, or some American 760 by 39s, it would be like a 5/8 by 24 thread pitch. You buy the muzzle device that goes on there, and then it doesn't matter because you have the can. But with pistols, you have to own the piston that goes onto that thread pitch. Now this one's specifically for a 45, and this is 16 by 1 left-hand thread pitch. European countries use left-hand thread pitch, so this is for an HK45. But I have my 9mm suppressor right here with a piston in there. And with pistons, before I screw this on there, you have the piston itself, and then you have a spring for pistols. And this is not for this suppressor, but I'll show you. So you have the piston, and then you have the spring. And what the spring does is it compresses while you're shooting your pistol, and it allows it to cycle. And the reason why there's a spring there is because these barrels are not fixed barrels like on a rifle. The barrel moves when you're shooting. So you see it's kind of tilted up right now, and that's because it has to unlock itself for the pistol to cycle. So every time you shoot, that barrel goes back or goes down, and it unlocks from the slide. And that spring is compressing during that time, which allows the gun to cycle properly. I'm not a scientist, I didn't design this, that's just how it works. So the spring allows the pistol to cycle because it's compressing as your barrel is tilting. So with pistols, you need the spring in order for it to cycle. Now there might be some exceptions because not all barrels tilt like on the Smith & Wesson here, but that is the gist of it. With a pistol, you need the spring plus the piston, and it screws on as long as you have the right thread pitch, which most 9mm are half by 28. So that just screws right on. Now the other thing with shooting a pistol suppressed is it's not as, I would say it's not as like precise. And what I mean by that is these pistols, you're not rock setting it on there. It's not tapered. So over time, this can unscrew as you're shooting it suppressed. That's just what I've noticed, and I have a few pistol suppressors. They can back off over time because you're not cranking it on there to the point where it can't come off. It does loosen up over time. So when you shoot pistol suppressed, you kind of want to verify that it's still tight after every mag, ideally. Obviously, it's going to get hot, so you're probably not mag dumping pistols, but that's just something I've learned. What else? The other option is you can do a sub gun, which this is a 9mm pistol caliber carbine, whatever. In military terms, it'd be a submachine gun, which would be way cooler than what this one is. But this is also a 9mm, so theoretically you could put your 9mm can on here. Now the difference is you do not want that spring on the piston, because what that spring is going to do is, since this barrel does not move when you shoot, it's going to shoot the suppressor forward and backwards every time, which is not good for it. So theoretically with this, it would screw right on there, but I need a fixed barrel spacer. I don't have one for this can, but I have one for a different one. So I have this piston right here, and I have this fixed barrel spacer. That's just a fancy term for a metal sleeve. That's all it is. It takes place of the spring, and then with this, it goes in your mounting system, which this just holds it all together while you screw it in. But now there's no spring, it's just that metal sleeve. And with this, I can screw it onto a sub gun, which is a pistol caliber carbine, like this Chris Vector here in 45. I unscrew this, and this is a left-hand thread pitch. It's an American gun, but it's a left-hand thread pitch, which is interesting. I guess I didn't clear this one for you guys, but I cleared it before this video, so let me do that, because obviously my hand's near the muzzle. But so this screws on like so. Once I line it up, so you'll notice instead of righty-tighty, it is lefty-tighty. So now that's tight on there, but it does not move because it has that metal spacer in there instead of this spring. So now when I shoot this, the can does not move at all. But if I had the spring on there, that suppressor would shoot forward and backwards every time you shoot it, which is not good for it. It's more likely to have a baffle strike, which is when the round hits the baffles in there, and the baffles are just some type of cone. But yeah, you don't want the spring, and the fixed barrel spacer prevents that. So theoretically, Now that we have that out of the way, the mounting, theoretically you have two options for attaching to subguns specifically. You have direct thread, which this one has a direct thread option right here, so I can unscrew this. I'll clear this one for you guys too, because I'm being lazy about that, but it's clear. So you have the threaded barrel on this one, and this screws right onto the threaded barrel. And it's a long thread pitch on this one. But this is 1/2 by 28, so I can screw this on my 9mm pistol or my 9mm subgun, which is very cool. Like I said, you would just need to change the spring in there for that metal spacer, which I did not do in this one yet. So now I would have a suppressed subgun. But if you'll notice, there's a lot of space here. Now the other option for mounting to a subgun is this. And let me pull this mount out because I have an extra one here. So the current mount that is on this suppressor is the standard piston that I told you about. So the piston is this with the spring, which again, we don't want the spring on there. We would want a metal spacer, and then the cap that screws it all in place. So that's direct thread. With 9mm and some 45s and other stuff, you have an option for tri-lug, which this is a contained mount. This is the entire mounting system. And the pros of tri-lug is, one, you don't have to screw it on. Two, it gets it much closer to the gun. So there's 3 lugs on this gun right here. Excuse me, buddy. I'm gonna scoot you that way. There's 3 lugs on the gun right here. And what those lugs do is it locks it in place. So I'm gonna show you that. So again, this was direct thread, and you would direct thread this with the metal spacer, not the spring. I know this is kind of confusing if you're new, but over time you'll learn it, and it took me some time to learn it too. So I unscrewed that. I would normally screw my my thread protector back on there, but I'm just going to show you for the sake of this. With that tri-lug, which is this mount, it's one solid piece that screws into the can. I put it over, I let it find the lugs right there, you see, and then I push down and to the side. And now it's locked in place. Like there's a little bit of like side to side play, but there's no like angled play. It's locked in place. I can't pull it forward. Theoretically, you could unscrew it, the mount, but you don't want to do that. You can actually tighten it better with this way. But this prevents it from unscrewing while you're shooting it. So tri-lug is quick detach. So it's push, twist, and it comes right off. For subguns, I've never seen tri-lug in like a 5.56 or anything like that. I think they're just too high pressure and you need way tighter tolerances for that. This has a little bit looser tolerances. So for 9mm, 45s, maybe 40s and some other calibers, I'm not sure, but for 9mm and 45s, they do have tri-lug as an option for mounting suppressors. And I like tri-lug a lot more because it's quicker and I haven't had any issues with it. You theoretically could have a baffle strike because the tolerance is not as much, but I would say I run decent guns, good cans, good ammo, and I've never baffle struck one yet. Now I'm not mag dumping, but just I haven't personally had the issue of baffle striking my suppressor yet. So that is a pretty good way to mount it. Downside with the tri-lug mount, it's like $150 for a lot of companies' tri-lug mounts, where most companies come with some type of piston and the spring. All you got to do is buy that metal spacer, which is like $30. So tri-lug is nicer, but it's more expensive. The piston is cheaper. The con is it pushes the suppressor further out and it's not quick detach, but both are very good options. It's just kind of whatever you would like. But yeah, I would say that's the main thing is you have direct thread and quick detach on the muzzle devices for rifles. Pistols, you have a little bit more options. Now with a pistol, it's really just direct thread. There are a couple specialty mounting systems that companies have made to make pistol mounting a little bit faster, but for the most part, it just screws on there. And then same thing, you could screw it onto the gun if it's, threaded for it. And then if it has the tri-lug mount, then you can tri-lug the can, but you specifically need those lugs. And you could buy those 3-lug adapters for threaded barrels. So hopefully that wasn't too confusing for you guys. It was confusing to me when I learned it. Tried to make it a little bit easier for you. If you need like a more broken down video and shooting to help, let me know and I can try to make that happen for you guys. But thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Stay tuned for the next video. Loki, do you want up here? Come here. This is my little man Loki. He's been in a few of my videos. All right, you gotta lay down though, buddy. No, you can't sit on my lap. Good boy. I'm trying to record this YouTube video, but Harley just looks so cute, doesn't she? Harley, do you mind if I record one? Thank you.